Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. I'm Pikanthi Diwanti. I'm a lecturer at Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Today in my presentation, I would like to report my research about the influence of human research competence in Spencer concept to organizational entrepreneurship, a case study of the Nasyiatul Aisyiyah business in Kendal. In my presentation, I will divide into three major issues. Number one, research background. Number two, research methodology. And the last is result and discussion. In my study, my aim is to determine how the influence of human resources competence in Spencer concept, which consists of motivation, traits, self-concept, knowledge, and skill on organizational entrepreneurship at the Nasyiatul Aisyiyah charity business entity Kendal Regency. Well, let's move to the next slide. Human existence in an organization has a very vital and central role in an organization. The success of an organization is largely determined by the quality of the resources in it. Okay, let's move to the next slide. I will discuss theoretical review. There are 3 points here. Number one, human resources competence. Number two, Spencer and Spencer concept. And the last is organizational entrepreneurship. Let's to number one, human resources competence. According to some experts, competence is the ability or capacity of a person to do various tasks in a job. And number two, Spencer and Spencer concept. According to Spencer and Spencer, characteristic of competence, there are 5 points here. Number one, motives are things that a person thinks or wants consistently that lead to action. Motive, it means drive, direct, and select behavior towards certain action or goals and away from others. Number two, traits are physical characteristic and consistent response to situation or information. Number three, self-concept is covering one's attitude, values, or self-image. Number four, knowledge. Knowledge is information that a person has for a particular field. Knowledge is a complex competence. And the last is skill, is the ability to carry out a certain task both physically and mentally. Ladies and gentlemen, next in my slide, I will discuss research methodology. There are 2 points here, research design and sample and population. In research design, this research uses the quantitative method to examine certain population or samples. Data collection using research instrument of qualitative or statistical data analysis with Likert scale and to test predetermined hypothesis. And sample and population. In this study, the population was Buana of Regency, head of Nasyiatul Aisyiyah Kendal. Okay. In the next slide, I will talk about data collection. There are 2 points here, questionnaire and documentation. Samsul Hadi states that the questionnaire is a set of questions that have been prepared and written in advance by the researchers to ask the respondent for answer. And then the document examine data on things or variation in the form or notes, transcript, books, newspaper, magazine, and so on. Well, in the next slide, I will discuss both operational variable definition. There are 2 points here. Number 1, the independent variable were competence of human resources and Spencer's concept. And the independent variable was organizational entrepreneurship. And the instrument test, there are 2 points, validity test and reliability test. And the last is classical assumption test. There are 3 points, multicollinearity test, normality test, heteroscedasticity test. Okay. Next, I will discuss results and discussion. From respondent overview, okay. Based on the result, it is known that the error count value for the human resource competence question shows all error count values bigger than error table. There are 0.334. So, all the question above can be said to be valid. And based on the result above, the organizational entrepreneurship validity test, the error count value for the organizational entrepreneurship question showed all error count value bigger than error table. There are 0.334. Thus, all the questions were valid. Okay. Based on the table above, please kindly look at the table result. The reliability test obtained the value of all variables greater than 0.70 and was reliable. In the classical assumption test, there are normality tests and then linearity tests. And the simple linear regression. Okay, based on the result, please kindly look at the table here. A simple linear regression equal the constant value was 1.684. It showed that if the human resource competence variable considered constant, then organizational entrepreneurship was 1.684. And then from hypothesis test, okay, we can check it. Please kindly look at the table result. Determination coefficient. And the last in my presentation is conclusion. There are several points here. Number 1, based on the result above in the table, that error count values for the human resource competence question showed all error count values bigger than error table. It means that all the questions were valid. And then, based on the table, the reliability test obtained a value greater than 0.70, which according to the criteria, it's mean reliable. From the result, the classical assumption, the test, classical assumption test, and normality test using the Kolmogorov-Smirnov, it means this result indicate that the data were normally distributed. Okay, and the last, based on the result, the coefficient of determinant, the magnitude of R square was 0.807. The result of this statistical calculation implies that the ability of the independent variable or human research competence in explaining changes in the independent variable, it means organizational entrepreneurship, was 80.7%, and the remaining 19.3% was from other variables outside the announced regression models. Well, there is my presentation, and thank you very much.